One bright morning, Mrs. Jamison pulled up outside her husband's law firm with their son, Dallas, in the back seat. Dallas, who was 7 years old and curious about everything, hopped out, wearing his favorite superhero backpack. After giving his mom a big hug and a wave, he trotted inside the impressive office building to find his dad, Mr. Jamison. Mr. Jamison was a hard-working lawyer at the firm, and everyone seemed to look up to him. Dallas noticed that when his dad walked through the lobby, people smiled, nodded, and even greeted him with a friendly good morning. But Dallas also noticed something else. No one seemed to pay attention to the older man sweeping up near the entrance. Every morning, as Mr. Jamison passed this man, who wore a blue uniform and carried a mop and bucket, he'd stop for a moment to say, "Good morning, Mr. Henry. How's it going?" And every morning, Mr. Henry would smile and reply warmly, "Doing just fine, Mr. Jamison. Thanks for asking." Sometimes Mr. Jamison even helped Mr. Henry out by picking up any trash nearby or holding the door open for him when he wheeled his cart by. Dallas noticed that his dad did this without anyone asking him to, and he found it curious. Why did his father, the lawyer everyone admired, go out of his way to talk to and help the janitor, when so many people in the office didn't even seem to notice him? One day, after a long meeting, a group of office workers quickly left the conference room, chatting and laughing as they went. They almost bumped right into Mr. Henry, who was just trying to clean up the empty coffee cups and papers they'd left behind. Dallas saw it all happen as he waited in the hallway. Mr. Henry just moved aside and didn't say anything, but Dallas could see he looked a bit tired and hurt by how people treated him. As Dallas and his dad rode home together that afternoon, Dallas finally decided to ask what had been on his mind for a while. "Dad, why do you always talk to Mr. Henry and even help him with his cleaning? No one else does that." Mr. Jamison looked at his son and smiled. "I'm glad you asked, Dallas," he said, glancing back at the curious boy in the rearview mirror. "I talk to Mr. Henry and help him out because I believe everyone deserves respect, no matter what job they have. He might be the janitor, but he's just as important as anyone else here." "But Dad," Dallas said, frowning as he tried to understand, "some people act like they don't even see him. They just walk past him like he's invisible." Mr. Jamison nodded. "You're right, Dallas. Some people think that just because Mr. Henry's job is different from theirs, it isn't as important. But think about it, can you imagine how messy our office would be without him? Mr. Henry works hard every day to make sure the office is clean, so everyone can have a nice space to work in." Dallas thought about that. He could picture what the office might look like without someone like Mr. Henry keeping things tidy, and it wasn't a pretty picture. "I get it, Dad. But why do you think it's even more important to be nice to him?" Mr. Jamison glanced at Dallas with a thoughtful smile. "Besides being the right thing to do, treating people with respect can come back to you in ways you might not expect," he explained. "There may be a day when Mr. Henry has a job that's higher than mine, or maybe he'll be able to help me out when I need it. And how do you think he'll treat me if I was rude to him?" Dallas thought for a moment, then said, "Probably not so nicely." "Exactly," Mr. Jamison said with a smile. "It's like the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. You never know what people might become or how they might help you one day. But more importantly, showing respect means you see someone as a person, not just as their job." Dallas nodded slowly, his mind racing with this new idea. His father's words made so much sense. Everyone in the office building, whether they were lawyers, receptionists, or janitors, was a person deserving of kindness. He realized that being respectful was like being a real-life superhero. It made you stronger, wiser, and more connected to everyone around you. The next day, Dallas made a point to wave at Mr. Henry when he saw him in the hallway. "Good morning, Mr. Henry," he said with a bright smile, trying to sound as cheerful as his dad always did. Mr. Henry's face lit up. "Good morning, young man," he replied, clearly surprised but happy. From that day forward, Dallas made it his mission to treat others with respect, no matter what they looked like or what job they did. And in doing so, he felt proud, knowing he was becoming just like his dad, the respectful little gentleman.